On to Act 2. The difficulty spike from the end of Act 1 to the beginning of Act 2 is pretty brutal. Where in Act 1 we're actively searching out the hardest fights, looking to kill them to become more powerful. A lot of times in Act 2 I end up running and dodging and hiding and just scraping by to try and stay alive to the end. I don't think that's a concern this run. We're in pretty good shape. We have solved some of the Act 2 problems already. Electrodynamics is going to do a lot of AoE damage, which will help with all of the multi-enemy fights we're going to come across. We have quite a bit of block already for a floor 17 deck. And importantly, with orbs, with focus, with buffer, we have block that won't be affected by frail. There's a few enemies in Act 2 that will make us frail, which reduces the amount our cards block for, and then start to hit us for 22, 24 damage every turn. It's really pretty rude. Collector is our Act boss. Collector will summon some minions on Act 2. They have about 40 hit points, and they will hit us for about 7 damage every turn. On turn 4, Collector will put a bunch of big debuffs on us. I think we're weak and frail and vulnerable for 5 turns, I want to say. After that, she'll start hitting us over the head pretty hard. If we kill the minions, which at 40 hit points shouldn't be too bad with the Hand of Greed and the electrodynamics, good lord. When the minions are dead, there's a chance that she'll stop hitting us and resummon them. So that will be good to get them down. Some general path thoughts. We want an early shop. Dying with 500 gold would be heartbreaking. We won't be fighting the super elite here. Said last time there was some value in killing the Act 1 Super Elite because it was significantly easier than the Act 3 Super Elite. That doesn't hold true in Act 2. The Act 2 Super Elite is easier than the Act 3 Super Elite, but there's not as big of a gap. And making it through Act 2, getting our relics, including our bonus relics from non-boss chests, relics from elites, at least one rare card from the boss, another boss relic, we will be significantly stronger when we get to Act 3. So we'll be significantly stronger to fight a moderately stronger super elite as a trade we'll make. The only thing worth considering there is that it's going to railroad us in Act 3. We have to pass through the super elite, assuming we want to go to Act 4, which I am. So if this, again, was part of a good path, we could take that, but I'm not going to. Act 2 has a lot of good events, which you combine that with the difficulty of normal hallway fights, makes question marks very attractive in Act 2. A lot of times I will highly prioritize going through question marks, which is also part of the hide and scrape and run of getting through the act, is going through 5 or 6 question marks and hoping none of them are fights. Number 1, we won't need to, but we also have a Hand of Greed and a genetic algorithm we want to get played as often as possible. So we're going to take a relatively heavy hallway fight act here. I'm a little disappointed in the shop placements. I was hoping to hit a shop early Act 2 and then hit another one up at the end of Act 2, but we can't. With them grouped together, I'd rather them be grouped early than all up late. Just make sure that we get to one before we die. So we will be pathing through one of these stores, starting here with our earliest. We can take 3 hallway fights. Question mark, fire, question mark, fire. At that point, we've got a choice of elite, question mark elite, question mark elite, hallway elite, elite, elite. This question mark here is kind of a, and we could come up through here if we weren't strong enough to fight elite. We could have question mark here and then hit that one. If we're not strong enough to fight an elite here after having not fought anything through here, we're not beating the boss anyway, so it doesn't matter. But this is one of those decision points I talked about last time, where we can branch off and see what the run's doing for us. Our next store option is here. We can do, again, 3 hallways and a question mark, or 4 hallway fights into that shop. We get a fire, we get a hallway, we get a hallway or a fire, which would be a fire for an upgrade, possibly a rest, a chest, and then back into our decision point here with a bunch of fights, a bunch of question marks, 1 elite and even more question marks. Our last shop is the one that's furthest up the path, which has some value. Each one of these hallway fights we fight will get us, I believe it's 10 to 12 gold on average, and then with the way our hand of greed has been going, I mean, we could easily have another 100 gold by the time we got to that one. We can do 5 hallway fights on our way there. We could do 4 hallways and 1 question mark. We could do 3 hallways and 2 question marks. Hit a fire, hit a shop, hit a fire, and then we've got a branching path with a bunch of fights and 2 elites. We've got another one with a bunch of question marks and 1 elite. I like this decision point here. Get to here, decide if we're up for 2 elites in a hallway or where we want to go from there. Again, I mean, maybe if we were to come this way through some more of these hallway fights, we might need to rest there. But if we're taking this fire for a rest instead of this elite, the run's probably kind of hooped anyways. So I like that decision point, and I like this store to get there better. We're doing hallway fights, not question marks, with the cards we have, which means we're starting here. This is one of the enemies I mentioned that will make us frail and then start to hit us for 22 damage. Here's our plasma orb we got from our nuclear battery. At the start of our turn we gain 1 energy, and yeah, I was correct. When we evoke it, this turns into 2 energy. And it's unaffected by focus. So we will defrag, cold snap, and we want to play genetic algorithm, but like I mentioned last time, it's worth 13 block. We can't play it just to play it here, especially against a guy who's gonna hit us for 22 here in a couple turns. And he has barricade, so this block is not removed at the end of his turn. So he's only got 20 HP, but we got to get through all this block first before we can get there. Alright, we went into this act bragging about our block, and we don't draw any block cards. He's going to hit us for 11, and he's going to frail us. Playing electrodynamics will evoke our energy orb, which means we actually got 6 energy now, which is electro, hand of greed, dual cast strike. If we're going to evoke an orb on a turn and we have dual cast in our hand, we dual cast it first. Obviously, I mean, it gives us another evocation of whatever it is we're doing. Now we've got a frost orb here for the 22 we're going to take next turn. That we might take next turn. We blasted through that block pretty quick. So we took 7. Here's our frail. Gain 25% less block from cards for 5 turns. Charge battery would normally block for 7, but it's only blocking for 5. But he's dead, which is unfortunate. Had I known we'd have done that to him, I would have played Genetic Algorithm on turn 1, even though we didn't need to block anything with it. Okay. 16 more gold. We're rolling in good potions. Cultist Potion. We gain Ritual, which is the buff that the bird cultist got in Act 1, though we only gained 1 strength at the end of our turn, where they gained 4. We're looking to do damage with focus and orbs. Strength isn't really part of our damage profile at this point. That said, there aren't many potions I would keep over Cultist Potion, but I just happen to have 3 of them already. Auto Shields, Ball Lightning, Cool-Headed. Auto Shields is a relatively big number block card. 11 block for 1 energy. 15 block for 1 energy when upgraded. The problem with it is that if you have no block, you gain 11 block. With Frost Orbs and Loop already in our hand, we're going to start our turn with block enough that this is going to have very little value. Ball Lightning is a great damage common card. We are no longer looking for damage common cards. Cool-Headed gives us a Frost Orb. Cool-Headed gives us card draw. 2 cards when upgraded. And we are looking for both of those items. We've got 4 energy now. We've got some important cards we're looking to get after. We've got focus for that Frost Orb. This is a really good card right now. Alright, the Shelled Parasite, he starts with 14 plated armor. He will get that plated armor at the start of every turn. But every time we do unblocked attack damage, which again doesn't count orbs, we'll reduce that plated armor by 1. So our focus here is going to be making sure we're blocking, chipping this, plating down eventually, and then killing him. This won't be a super fast fight. Of course, I didn't think the baseball last time was going to be either. We definitely play Genetic Algorithm there, get a full block. It's Ball Lightning, Strike, and Strike. We take the plating down to 12. Our orbs do a little bit of damage there. We're going to play Electrodynamics, which would evoke that orb, which means we can cast it first. Electrodynamics. We can play all our cards. Charge battery. There's attack damage. There's more orbs. Took a bit of damage there. We're at 40. Can't kill with Hand of Greed, and I'd really like to do that. So I think we're going to stall this one out here. So I do have Fatal here. I've got 25, 31, and 9, but I want the Fatal, I want the Hand of Greed proc. Let's go Loop. We'll take 2 here. That's a buffer there. could play cool-headed, but then we have the possibility of drawing defrag with 0 energy, and then we don't get to play it. Though, to be honest, I don't know that we play it this fight anyways, but we'll try and stay in the good habit of doing it right. I think... I do that to get a little bit of damage here, to make sure that we're gonna get close enough to fatal with Hand of Greed, that in case that's the only attack we draw. We're at 24. There it is. Block Potion. Block Potion's a good potion. Gain 12 block. But I don't think it's as good as those. Streamline. I feel like we talked about that last time. It's upgraded now. It does 20 damage, but it's slow. It's a damage common. We have a loop. I'm not opposed to a second loop, but I believe I also said that I will take any other glaciers we see during the run. And Snecko. Snecko is going to put a debuff on us called Confusion. It's going to randomize the cost of all of our cards between 0 and 3. It will make our 1-cost ones a touch more expensive. It'll make our 2-cost ones a touch cheaper on average. He's also going to hit us with Vulnerable this turn, and then start hitting us for some pretty big numbers. So, it's cool-headed. Electro. Sure. I should have dual cast at the start of that, but we ended up in the same place, so we're fine. I previously just said the previous fight that if we're going to evoke an orb and have dual cast in our hand, we dual cast it instead of doing it. But we got to the same place. This is 27, 15, that's 22. So that should get us there. 24, 26, 27, 28. We can't play both Defrag and Glacier at the same time. We've got a buffer stack. Block there, though. No, doesn't matter. Defend. Snap. It's 16 to 10. He's going to vulner us again. Push some energy the next turn. So if we get that. Where's that Hand of Greed? 15. Gonna dual cast again there, but we were way over already. Hand of Greed. Hand of Greed. Alright, Snecko done. Took a couple, I think. Another 16 gold. Flex Potion, gain 5 strength. At the end of your turn, lose 5 strength. Like I said previously with the Cultist Potion, strength isn't really what we're looking to do. Again, like the Dexterity pot, with a way to remove debuffs or an artifact that stops it from applying in the first place, that would be a permanent 5 strength gain. Boot sequence, 10 block, exhaust, innate. Innate, that starts in our hand every time, which seems good. A free 10 block, but we don't get an extra card, so we get boot sequence plus 4 other cards. And I think we have enough other important things we want to get in play that I think boot sequence will get in the way of that a little bit. The fact that it does exhaust is helpful, but I don't think we want that. We've already talked about streamline and sweeping beam. Alright, we've got another shelled parasite with his 14 plated armor. We've got a fungi beast. He's going to buff himself with strength. He's going to make an annoyance of himself, hitting us for some pretty good damage. When he dies, he's going to apply us with 2 vulnerable, which will cause his friend to start hitting us for 50% more damage. So this will go to 18, which is usually something to care about, but Hand of Greed is fatal. Genetic algorithm blocks for 17, and Cold Snap gets the last one. Can't block for 18, so we'll buffer. Keep breaking the rule I just set. Dual casting that doesn't do anything because we're going to use our buffer stack anyways, and we want that for next turn. Headed. 7, 9. We're not chipping away here. We're spending all of our energy blocking and not getting into his armor. This defrag will help. That'll cause our orbs to block for more. Let's put a little more energy into attacking. Oops. Tried to hit mute to cough and shot a strike across the arena. So that's a defrag, that's a charge battery, and a strike that doesn't really do anything. Alright, now we've already got 16 blocks, so now we can start chipping into this. Strike, didn't need to play that, but alright, we got one down. Headed. Hand of Greed will get into that. Cold Snap will chip away at that. Make sure full blocks. Strike takes that. Focus in this loop. I'm at 16 block every turn before I do anything. 1, 2, 3. Send a fatal Hand of Greed range. And there's 15 gold. Focus potion. Gain 2 focus. This is an extremely powerful potion. These are all really good. I think we get rid of the Gambler's Brew for the Focus Potion. Card rewards. Fusion Plus, Channel 1 Plasma. We've got a plasma already. It feels like we're doing okay on energy, so I don't think I want to take that card. Hello World. At the start of your turn, add a random common card into your hand. I've already said we're pretty much done with common cards, but Defect has some really good common cards. Might have the best common cards in the game. As opposed to Innate that starts it in your hand, this adds it to our hand, so we would actually get 6 cards at the start of every turn. So this doesn't slow down the first time through our deck, but the second time through our deck, we've now got all these random cards in our deck that we need to get through to get to the cards that we intentionally took. Third time through, we've got even more. So not Hello World. Leap plus 1 energy, 12 block, but we're blocking well enough with our Frost Orbs to skip that. Focus Pot is too good, we have to take it. Feels a little bit spooky to get rid of Gambler's Brew, which could save us from a bad draw, but I think that's one we do. And finally, we made it to our store. 663 gold. Stores are pretty... There's a lot of... obviously a lot of decisions to be made at every shop. Every shop is going to have 2 attack cards, 2 skills, 1 power card. There's going to be 2 colorless cards. One of them will always be rare. I think. Almost positive. One of them will always be rare. We're going to get 3 relics. We're going to get 3 potions. And we'll get a card removal service. We can use this once per store. We can remove one of our cards, as long as it's a card that can be removed. That can't. For 75 gold, each time we use it, it increases by 25 for the rest of the run. So the next time we go to a shop, it'll cost 100 gold to use that. We'll be removing a strike here. We won't be using any potions. Explosive potion, deal 10 damage to all enemies. Is fine. It's better in Act 1. Because 10 damage isn't that much anymore. As you've seen, our HP numbers on our enemies are getting bigger. There are a couple of fights where this could be useful in Act 2, but not over those. Strength potion, we're not scaling with strength. Smoke bomb, escape from a non-boss combat, but we receive no rewards. We're not escaping from anything. We're fighting to the death. Blind, apply to weak. Weakened creatures deal 25% less damage with attacks. It's not bad, but it's not something we're really considering. We could find a go for the eyes along the way if we decide we need weak. We're blocking quite a bit. Metamorphosis. Shuffle 3 random attacks into your draw pile. They cost 0 this combat. We're not doing damage with attacks, much less just random attacks. Barely like the attacks that we intentionally put in our deck, much less the random ones. Blizzard, deal damage equal to 2 times the number of Frost Orbs this combat. Channel this combat to all enemies. It's a little bit of AoE, with emphasis on little bit. This is incredibly slow, and just this is very rarely worth taking. Beam Cell, 3 damage, 1 vulnerable, 0 cost. Same things I've been saying. Damage common, 3 damage is a small amount. Vulnerable doesn't help our orbs. Multicast, we get a rare card. Evoke your next orb X number of times. X cost cards cost however much energy you have when you play it, and then do their effect that number of times. If we cast this with 3 energy, it evokes our next orb 3 times. First thought is we already have dual cast, which evokes our next orb twice for 1 energy. For this to be better than dual cast, output wise, we would need to cast it with 3 energy. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me right now, why we would do that. If we had a dark orb, this could potentially be a thing, but we don't. This card has its moments, but it's not in this moment. Gain 6 block. Decrease this card's block by 1 this combat. Every time we play this, it does less block. It's not a lot of block. It goes down. Most fights aren't lasting that long, though. This card can be good, but we don't want that now. This card we do want. We gain 2 orb slots. Upgraded, it gives us 3. That gives us 6, 10 more block, more damage, more whatever our orbs are doing. This is definitely a take. Oddly Smooth Stone. Start each combat with 1 dexterity. Makes all of our block cards block for 1 more. This isn't something I'm super interested in. We're not going to build a run around it, but we have 588 gold, and we're going to start fighting some things that are going to hit us, so it's not... I think it's fine. Sundial. Every 3 times you shuffle your draw pile, you gain 2 energy. 24 cards for... I don't want to spend 245 gold on that. It's not bad. Our deck's not that big. We could get some use out of it, but I think we can do better things with our gold, assuming we live to the next act and in the next shop, than that. Orange pellets. Whenever you play a power, attack, and skill in the same turn, remove all of your debuffs. This is, in general, this is a really good relic. On Defect, specifically, it's a really, really good relic, but part of that is speculative. There's a Defect card called Bias Cognition, which gives you 4 focus. Upgraded, it gives you 5 focus, but you lose 1 focus every turn. That focus loss can go past the 4 or 5 that it gave you, to the point where you're actually into negative focus if you play it too early in a fight. But that lose focus is a debuff. So if we played Bias Cognition, which is a power, and then an attack and a skill in the same turn, we get 4 or 5 focus permanently for the rest of the fight. This applies to the speed pot and flex pot we talked about, and we also mentioned that Collector is going to hit us with a bunch of nasty debuffs on turn 4. This is a good card, or this is a good relic, if you don't have a specific use in mind for it. There's enough debuffs that go on you over the course of a run that if you have enough powers, attacks, and skills in your hand, and you can regularly get it to proc, that's good, just like out of the box with nothing special planned. Against Collector, and with the hope of finding a Bias Cog, this is definitely an auto pick. Get rid of the strike. I think that's it. I think we take our two, and I think that's it. I think we take our 218 gold to Act 3 with us. I mean, I was hoping for a little bit better store. I mean, to be fair, Capacitor was a really good hit. Orange Pellets was a really good hit. Oddly Smooth Stone's fine, but I was hoping for something a little more impactful here. Or a few, or multiple, a little bit less impactful, but I mean, we're still in a good spot. We've got a good deck. I don't think we're not in any danger of dying anytime soon. But a touch disappointed, which is fair. So much has gone right this run. It's probably fine to be a little disappointed. I mean, we're better than we were before we went into the shop for sure. So I don't want to sound too picky. Got a fire. We're not resting. It's an upgrade. Possible upgrades. Loop again. Buffer again. Cool-headed again. Capacitor for 3 orb slots again. But it's electrodynamics. We'll get this to summon a 3rd lightning orb every time we play it. And into our next hallway fight. Alright, now we've got a snake plant. This is one of the rude boys who's going to hit us for 24 repeatedly. He will frail us at some point during the fight. Obviously not right at the beginning. Malleable. Upon receiving attack damage, gains 3 block. Block gain increases as malleable is triggered. First time we hit him with attack damage, he gains 3 block. The next time we hit him, he gains 4. Then he gains 5. If you have an attack damage based deck, this guy's can be pretty tough. I mean, he's always pretty tough. I mean, if this guy was in Act 1, he'd probably be an elite. We're going to take some damage in this fight before we get some orbs and focus going. Capacitor. That capacitor means that our plasma orb isn't evoked as soon as we play a glacier or a defrag. Charge battery, 1620, we take 4. We'll play a defrag. I think we're going to use a capacity potion here. Give us 2 orb slots. Let us cast electrodynamics without getting rid of our plasma orb. And we can zap. This is 10 here. G. Alright, this is his debuff turn. We're hitting for 20 damage per turn with our lightning orbs. He's only got 46 health. Hand of Greed is not fatal here. Well, yeah, it would leave him at 1. I mean, it's basically fatal, but it doesn't give us the gold. If we play this, there's 0% chance we can draw it again before he's dead. We're already at a extremely low chance of that anyways, but we are going to get, I mean, next turn we get 5 of these, the next turn we get 3, and then 2 other ones, and one of those could be Hand of Greed, so we don't play that. That also means we're not going to get Genetic Algorithm back if we don't play it here. I hate to play it when he's not attacking, but we have to play it. Can loop. I assume that'll give us 2 extra energy next turn. We're not playing Hand of Greed. We're not. Yep. Right, there's his debuffs. Yep, frail and weak. We've got a buffer. We've got a cool-headed. We have a strike. Orange pellets cleared our debuffs. So he's gonna... So these block the first 8. Right now we would take... Right now this would block 4. The buffer would block 4. And we would take 8. But being able to block the second 4, the second half of the second 8, does that make sense? These block the first 8. These block the second 8. Buffer eats the third 8. No strike. Hoping for that lucky GA. Next turn. GA. Hand of Greed. We don't get it. Block. He's dead. That one hurt though. That did a lot of damage. Essence of Steel. Gain 4 plated armor. Like our shield parasite friend. Ours is only 4 though. Every turn we get 4 armor at the start of our turn. Each time we take attack damage, we lose one of those plates until they're gone. With an open potion slot, there's no thought. Go for the Eyes Plus. I mentioned that at the shop, and I think we saw one in Act 1. Deal 4 damage. If the enemy intends to attack, apply 2 weak. I didn't mention debuffs. When debuffs stack, for example 2 weak, the effect stays the same. It's still only 25% less damage, but it stacks the duration. So this means he's weak for 2 turns. Which, I mean, there's some value to that. Not quite as much with weak as with vulnerable, but applying it for a second turn is pretty powerful. Vulnerable, which we're not going to be playing, this is just sort of a quick aside. 1 vulnerable you play, he's vulnerable, the enemy's vulnerable that turn, you push end turn and the vulnerable is gone. Having 2 vulnerable means he's vulnerable the next turn as well. So you can apply all of your attack damage to him when he's already vulnerable. That's an ironclad thing mostly. I just don't think applying weak is terribly relevant to us right now. We spoke about boot sequence. It being upgraded makes it a touch better, but not enough that I want to put it in my deck. I mean, we took a bunch of damage from our from the snake plant there, but boot sequence wouldn't have. Well, who knows? As cards are dealt, and you get different cards in different order, but sort of, you know, assuming same draw sequence. I mean, we only took a couple turn 1. It was at turn 2 and 3 that we took all that damage, and having boot sequence there may have pushed that, you know, the defrag, or that genetic algorithm to the next draw. It means we take even more damage. We're not going to take that. Weight Noise Plus. Add a random power card into your hand. That power card costs 0 this turn. Exhaust. This costs 0. Defect has a lot of really strong power cards. That's kind of what we're going to start basing around. We're going to... Is power cards. There aren't... I can't think of any defect cards that would be actively bad for us right now. So we're not super worried about getting a random power card. I mean, we don't get it for free. With this cost 0, the power card costs 0, but card draw and space in the card and deck space are also resources in this game. I think we're going to take this. That's just something to be aware of. Oh, look, it's free and that's free. Well, no, because we had to draw it. And what did we not draw because we got white noise? When white noise was shuffled into the deck, what did that push down further? But especially with orange pellets, we're wanting to play powers. This is a skill. It gives us a power. We're 2/3 of the way to a orange pellets proc without having spent any energy yet. So I would have taken this without orange pellets. With orange pellets, it's really good. This is a fire, and boy, I think I'm going to rest here. I don't know that it's right. But that snake plant fight spooked me a bit. And we still haven't gotten into our elites yet. I really want this path. I want elite, hallway elite. And if we go into this elite with 38 health and take any noticeable damage, I mean 15, 20, we then probably have to bail out through these question marks. And we're on Ascension 10. We've got a good deck, but I mean, Tri-Slavers are going to hit us for 34 turn 1 if I don't have an answer for that. So I think this is way too conservative, but I'm going to rest here. I'm going to gain 22 strength. We're going to go up to 60. Again, oh, it's done now. We get our first, I'm going to say this word, Matryoshka proc. We're going to get 2 relics out of here. Blood Vial. At the start of each combat, heal 2 HP. If I had had this prior, I probably wouldn't have rested there. We've now got some health sustain with this and Pantograph. This will be good for Act 3 though. Maybe we can prevent having a too conservative rest in Act 3. 49 gold. And Maw Bank. Whenever you climb a floor, gain 12 gold. No longer works when you spend any gold at a shop. We're taking this. Key's not an option, but we don't have another store at this shop. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, this is another free 84 gold just for Maw Bank, and then however far we get into Act 3 before a shop. So all of the money here in this run. Here's our decision point. I mean, there's no decision here. It's here and then here. And another chest. This will be our last of our Matryoshka. And that's disappointing. Whetstone. Upon pickup, upgrade 2 random attacks. We've got 3 strikes. We've got a cold snap. Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a power card into your deck, upgrade it. I just said last time when we picked up White Noise that defect powers are what we're going for. We're wanting all the powers. So, one of these relics was obsolete in our deck in the middle of Act 1. One of these relics is a big part of our plan going forward. Unfortunately, the wrong one is linked to the Sapphire Key. If this was Whetstone or Sapphire Key, it's Sapphire Key every time without thinking. I mean, I don't want to this is going to upgrade 2 strikes, and then I'm going to go to a shop and remove one of them. But we have to take Frozen Egg over Sapphire Key, so we take that. It's disappointing. If that was the other way around, that would have been really good. Yeah, whatever. Cold Snap instead of Strike, but still a 6 into a 9. And our first Act 2 Elite. These, as I've mentioned multiple times, are super spooky to me. So, we'll see how it goes. Ooh. Book of Stabbing. Little hand coming out of the book. The stabbing part of his name is pretty literal. He's going to attack us, and then attack us, and then attack us, and then attack us again. He's got a couple different attacks. He's got a multi-attack. He's got a big attack. I don't know if the multi-attack is... I don't know if he has more than one multi-attack, but each time he does it, it scales up. I think maybe every time he does it, he attacks for another time. So this time it's a 2x7, then we'll have a 3x7, and then a 4x7, and then a 5x7. And intermixed with that will be some just straight up one-shot 24s. Every time, I believe, almost positive, every time he does HP damage to us, he's going to put a wound in our hand, in our deck, probably into our draw pile. A wound is a status card that just takes up space, takes up card draw. It doesn't exhaust itself. So if we start taking a bunch of damage, we're going to get our deck full of bad cards. So, kind of digging the Oddly Smooth Stone at the moment. So this is definitely Essence of Steel. Help us block a bit. Considering Focus Potion. Besides needing to block all the ridiculous damage he's doing with the way his damage ramps up, we can't just sit here and try and block it all. Eventually he's going to get through it. I don't think we need the Focus Potion though, if we can get that defrag in a relatively timely manner. Capacitor, defend, zap, that's full block. There's our defrag. However, so we want to be playing defragment before we evoke any orbs. Obviously, the focus makes them evoke for more. But if I play defragment now, I can't play both Electrodynamics and Glacier. However, if I play both Electrodynamics and Glacier, we evoke the Plasma, and then I can play Defrag. We never play Buffer unless we don't play Defrag. I think Defrag is more important in a fight where you get a bunch of smaller attacks. If he hit for 21 every turn, I'd get Buffer in play, but you know, Buffer's only blocking for 7 at this point. Defrag with a bunch of Frost Orbs up here is going to block for more than that. $8, 16, 20. one. There's our wound. Do our drop pile, or discard pile. Yeah, here's that 24 I mentioned. And didn't have any debuffs to get rid of. 6, 10, 14, 17? Take 7 here. And another wound. Now we're up to 4x7. I like it. Another defrag. We got a 50-50 shot of hitting a card that's going to go a long way towards helping us block here. Genetic algorithm for blocks. 22, 32, yep. And I think I would rather push an energy to next turn than play a cold snap. We're blocking for 15, 16, 17. We're doing 12. We don't want to stall this fight, but we've got things in hand. We're blocking for 15. Here's the 7x5. There's a wound. 5, 10, 15, 20. 44. That's a full block there. Strike, and that is 12. That puts us at 24. And fatal if we could get hand to greet next turn. And there it is. Goodbye, Book of Stabbing. 34 gold. A pair. Upon pickup, raise your max HP by 10. That's always good. You've seen we can't block everything. We're gonna take a couple shots to the face. The more HP we have, the better we can do that. You'll note here, as our max HP goes up, our current HP goes up by the same amount. Dexterity potion. We have an open potion slot. Cold Snap Plus is out. I assume I don't need to say why again. Darkness and Seek are two very good cards. Darkness channels a Dark Orb. Increases passive. Its passive increases its damage every turn. When it is evoked, it deals that amount of damage to the enemy with the least HP. This is a way to do big burst damage. If we had been fighting the champ here, who's a different one of the Act 2 bosses, Darkness Orb, a Dark Orb would have been our plan. Even without that, it's still really powerful. I think it starts off hitting for 6 and increases by 6 every turn. That increase of 6 every turn is increased by focus. If we got it to the front and let it loop a few times, and then a dual cast, we could easily do 200 damage to a single enemy with the darkness. But Seek is good. Upgraded Seek is even better. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. Who knows if we'll be able to upgrade it. Put one card from your draw pile into your hand. I mean, when you draw that, what do you need that turn? Do we need to get that defrag online to get some block and damage going? Do we need to get that genetic algorithm in play right now to block a big attack? Do we need to get that Hand of Greed out right now to get that Fatal Proc? It's just really good. Do we need a Glacier? I mean, obviously, etc. I can do that with every card we have. I might regret not having... Though, to be fair, we do have Darkness. This potion that we picked up at... floor 1, I believe. We channel 1 Dark Orb for each orb slot. We didn't talk much about that, but... After I play Capacitor, if I drink that potion, I would fill all 5 of my orb slots with a Dark Orb, which would evoke all of the orbs that I already had. Those would all then start building their power up and then start doing a bunch of damage as they went. This is super powerful. If I didn't have this, I might take Darkness, but the upgrade on Darkness, it triggers the passive ability of all active Dark Orbs. So that helps to build them faster. I feel that you need a lot of orb slots to make that work, because you're channeling one and then activating the passive on another, but how many orb slots do you have that you've got multiple Dark Orbs sitting there brewing? Alright, that went obviously well enough with our rest. Alright, this fight, we've got Tanky Boy in front, we've got Healer in the back. Typically, you would think the instinct would be that you kill the healer, keep her from healing tank, and then you take the tank down. We do it the opposite way in this fight here. If we kill the Mystic, the Centurion gets very, very mad at us. If the Mystic is alive healing him, he's pretty passive. He's going to hit us for 14, he's going to hit us for 17, but if the Mystic dies, he's going to start hitting us for much, much bigger numbers than that. Once he's dead, the Mystic is no threat at all. We almost guarantee that I get 1 Hand of Greed off on the Mystic. It'd be kind of cool to get one on the Centurion as well. Always start with the defrag, Glacier, 16. Take a couple here. Take 1 here. Hit us with our frail. Cool-headed. Blocking for 12. We only need to block for 2. I'm not really worried about this fight at all. So I'm just going to get my genetic algorithm out of the way. Make sure it gets played. Make sure I don't have to think about it every other time it comes up. Definitely a capacitor. Get this full of orbs blocking 4. I can think even less. So we do need to do some damage. Get rid of our frail. I'm not going to look it up now. Her AI pattern decides at what point she heals him when she might attack. As long as we keep putting some consistent pressure on him, she'll just be healing him. Got our Seek. First thing to say is I'm not going to electrodynamics this fight. She's got armor now. I believe he gives her armor. But she has obviously fewer hit points than him. Electrodynamics could end up killing her first, which would be bad, as we talked about before. But I really want to hand degrade both of them, and electrodynamics just adds a bit too much damage, sometimes unpredictable damage. Well, actually it's not unpredictable, I know exactly how much it is, but it just speeds the fight up too much. I don't really want this fight to go fast. I want it to go nice and slow and steady, so I get 50 gold out of it. I think I'm going to seek white noise. It's probably a suboptimal play. But again, I'm not really worried about this fight. My charge battery here, full blocks all this. On one hand, it doesn't make sense to use a Seek to take a card that I'm just going to draw again next turn anyways. But there are some powers that are better in play this turn than next turn, something like Echo Form. I'm sure there's more. Storm. It's a bad hit. Again, doesn't particularly matter. Whenever you play a power card, channel 1 lightning. I've seen people do devastating things with this with decks that have a ton of powers in it. I don't want to channel a lightning when I play buffer. I kind of like having these 4 frost orbs hanging out there, so we're going to play buffer first. We'll play a charge battery for full block, and then we can get that storm out of the deck. I don't know that we have any more powers. Yeah, so it's not going to do anything. Oh, we have electrodynamics, but we're not playing that. And after saying all that, we're now going to get hit for 29. $12, $20, $6.32, $14, $18, $22, $26. Go ahead. We've let her heal him up too much here. $17. There's 8. Oh, okay. We're frail. So we can only block for 16 this turn, which means we lose our buffer. With attacks in our hand, there's no reason to lose our buffer to 1. reduce it to 9. It's the exact same thing. So we'll beat him up a bit. See if we can get a hand of greed on him. We can. Let's get another frost orb in front. Turtle up a bit and just orb her down and wait to redraw our hand of greed. So she's buffing herself with strength, which, oh no, very scary. Push one of these energy to next turn and do 10. I think she just healed for 16. I mean, again, not worried, but we're actually... she's healing more than we're doing damage. Yeah, definitely. She attacked us that turn. 33. 34. Alright. Distilled Chaos. Play the top 3 cards of your draw pile. Play the top 3 cards of your draw pile. So, in a 25, really 24 card deck, there's only genetic algorithm on a turn I'm not being attacked would be a bad hit. I mean, a card that exhausts itself with distilled chaos that we need later in the fight is a huge downside. Which could be genetic algorithm. Which, I mean, white noise isn't. I mean, it exhausts and then it gives us a power. I mean, whatever. I mean, that would be a good hit. We wouldn't have to worry about drawing it. We get it through the potion. Seek could be a bad hit if, say we had 4 cards in our draw pile when we played Distilled Chaos, and then we drew Seek, and then. But I mean, I know how many cards I have. I can see what's in the draw pile. I'm not gonna probably just spam it the first time I can. I'll assume I would play it in a somewhat good place. I think I like it more than the Dexterity Potion. It can put some of our 2-cost cards into play. Alright, time to come behind the curtain for a second. I have previously done this Act 2 run. I screwed the video up with multiple things, so I'm re-recording it. I'm playing through the act identically as I did the first time. If some of it seems a little bit patchy and jumpy, I'm pausing the recording and making sure that I'm making the exact same plays that I did previously. And it appears that the first time I played this last night, I was so excited about the Distilled Chaos and the upcoming Elite that I never clicked on this card reward screen and did not see this Glacier Plus. I moved immediately into the Elite fight. I feel like, having come this far, I can't now take this Glacier Plus that I didn't last night. So I think I will make an argument that 3 Glaciers in a 26 card deck might be too many. I'm not sure I would believe that in a real run. I'm pretty sure I would take this Glacier Plus. I mean, it's a consideration. I am a little bit worried about damage still. We don't really have any direct damage. I mean, we're doing AoE damage with lightning orbs, and I'm hitting with Hand of Greed every 5 turns. It's another 2-cost card. It's a really good 2-cost card. But we are going to say that we don't want a 3rd Glacier at this point in time with sort of 3.5 energy. I don't think it's outrageous, but I honestly think I would take this card if it was truly up to me. Alright, into our second elite. Again, it will be no Book of Stabbing, so we've got Gremlin Leader or Tri-Savers. And we have Gremlin Leader. Gremlin Leader summons Gremlin minions. The fact that these are minions matters because Hand of Greed only triggers when this card kills a non-minion enemy, and these are very clearly minions. They're trying to avoid a situation where we get a bunch of frost orbs. We're blocking for 200 damage every turn and just trying to farm gold from minions. The only person in this fight that I can Hand of Greed and get money for is the boss. I mean, I can kill them with Hand of Greed, obviously, but I just don't get the money for it. He can have 3 minions total. For each missing minion, it increases the chances that he's going to summon more. He is obviously attacking this turn. 2 shield gremlins is weird. I don't know that I've seen that. I was actually watching another streamer play, and he did a summon and summoned 3 shield gremlins at once. So he was surprised by that. So I know there's been a patch recently. I don't know if something changed in summoning patterns, but this is strange. I don't think they can shield themselves, but they can shield one of their other friends. This isn't super worrisome. To be honest, I wouldn't be really worried about these. I might even consider the thought of just ignoring them. I mean, once electrodynamics goes up, I probably would, and just focus on him. He's going to buff himself, and I believe his friends as well at certain points, give them more strength. It's a good fight. It's a tough fight. You can, but being able to kill his minions, you can manipulate his AI a bit and try to keep him from hitting you, and just keep him summoning more friends. Man, it's almost like that capacitor's bottled. How many times have we drawn that? First time. First hand. Battery. Orange pellets. Defend. Take 4. Electrodynamics here. There's our Defrag. Loop. Quick noise for sure, another loop. So we're doing 10 AOE damage. That kills Fat Gremlin. Mad Gremlin. He is angry. When he receives attack damage, he gains 1 strength. This attack damage, though, puts him at 10, which kills him from orbs. Snap there. I killed them. And to show you how worried I am about this fight, I will put kinetic algorithm when I'm not being attacked. Again, buffer isn't great against all these little attacks I'm taking here, whether they're the minions or his 6x3, but we'll get buffer in play. And lightning. We're killing those minions so fast, he spends his whole time summoning them. Alright. I spoke too soon. 42, 52. I think this is our distilled chaos. Let's see, and if we could get a glacier, charge battery, defend or something would be. I mean, obviously for free we've already got a glacier, we've got to defend, but these don't cost any energy to play. It's not great, but it's fine. I mean, we've got something. 36. 52? 52. Now we put some damage on him. Oh, 59. Again, these are minions. Hand of Greed doesn't do anything other than block for 6. Hand of Greed. Five. And agreed. Alright. Another elite down. One more question mark and a fire, and we're onto the boss. 26 more gold. Colorless potions are not good. As I mentioned before, the run started. Colorless cards aren't very good. Now we get a choice. Choose one of 3 random ones. This is basically what we would have gotten from a whale bonus. We can see what that does when we play this, which will be probably immediately. If this question marks a fight, we'll play it there. If not, we'll play it against the boss. I would not pick that up if I didn't have an empty potion slot. Smiling Mask. The merchant's card removal service now always costs 50 gold. Which is nice because our next one is going to cost 100 and then continue to increase by 25. The important thing to notice is the word always. There are relics that will decrease the cost of things in shops, and those do not work on card removal, because card removal always costs 50 gold, no more, no less. Which, that's fine. Common attack, common attack, common attack. Question mark? Okay. Alright. We can... I don't really pay attention to these. The Mausoleum. Venturing through a series of tombs. It's not a library. It's a mausoleum. You are faced with a large sarcophagus studded with gems in the center of a circular room. You cannot make out the writing on the coffin. However, you do notice black fog seeping out from the sides. We can open the coffin and find a relic and have a 50% chance of becoming cursed with Writhe, which is a pretty bad curse. It's unplayable, it doesn't exhaust, and it's innate. So again, it clogs up our first turn draw. But we still have a Omamori with 2 charges. A relic for an Omamori charge is an easy choice. And bronze scales. This will do damage. This will do a significant amount of damage if we get to the heart. And we'll just do damage through the course of the run. Trying to think. I don't know that we have any more enemies that have like a big multi-hits other than the heart. But yeah, no, that's a good relic. Campfire. Get some more gold from our little maw bank. We're going to get a heal from Pantograph of 25. When we go into the boss room, we're going to get another 2, 27. I mean, we're not quite full heal. We'll be 1 short. But yeah, so rest isn't an option. We don't recall, so we upgrade here. So we've talked about this a few times. We haven't gotten a whole lot of upgrades. Loop is an option, buffer is an option, cool-headed is an option. Strangely, as good as Glacier is, just getting that extra 3 block off the start isn't that good. It's not a great upgrade to me. I think this comes down to Capacitor and Seek here. Seek is such a good upgrade. I mean, putting 2 cards from your draw pile into your hand is stunning analysis. It's twice as good as putting 1 card into your hand from your draw pile. Hot takes tonight. Kind of depends on having the energy to play them. I think with the focus potion, I think with the fact that this is a fight that we need a little bit of AoE damage, I think this is Capacitor. Give us 1 more orb slot of block, 1 more orb slot of AoE pew pew damage from our lightning orbs. Seek would absolutely not be a bad upgrade here. I don't think... well... yeah. Yeah. There we are. Act 2 boss. Missing 1 HP. And turn 1 Seek. That's fantastic. Too bad that's not a Seek Plus. We could grab 2 cards here. So, the colorless potion we drink like I said before, this is worthless. Well, it's not worthless, but it's just not good. We're definitely drinking that. We're probably drinking the focus potion here as well. Good instincts. Gain 6 block for 0 energy. I mean, sure. Doesn't do much for me. Enlightenment. Reduce the cost of all cards in your hand to 1 this turn. This is really good in like a Snecko deck. Something where you've got a lot more cards in your hand than just 5 every turn. A lot of which already cost 1 or 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 5 out of 25 of our cards cost 2. None of them cost 3. Which means we need to, in a 5-card hand, draw this with at least 1 2-cost card. 2 of which are powers are going to be out of our hand the first time through the deck anyways. Thinking ahead, draw 2 cards. Put a card from your hand on top of your draw pile. And then exhaust. This is the pick. It'll get us some card draw. It will speed us up through our deck a bit, start getting those important cards we need. We've already got a Seek, we've already got a Cool-Headed, so this will get us moving in that direction for even more quickly. It helps that we have a good target for it already in Ball Lightning. We can draw 2 cards, put Ball Lightning on top of our hand, and then we've got Ball Lightning for the first turn that the Collector's minions are up. We do need to be careful about timing. We don't want to play Thinking Ahead and then play Cool-Headed, because then we just turn around and redraw our Ball Lightning. So we play Seek last. We get these draws out of the way, and then we go dig for whatever we didn't get. Right? So this is Cool-Headed first. Right, yes, because we don't want to draw the one that puts on top of our... White noise? Sure. Loop? Sure. I'll take another loop. Now we'll draw 2 cards, charge battery and dual cast, or I mean charge battery will probably do something here. We'll push an energy to next turn. But now we've got Ball Lightning on top of our deck. Now we'll Seek. Probably Electro. This first couple of turns, Electrodynamics is going to be more important than Defrag. Just to get that AoE damage going against those minions. There goes our Plasma Orb already, but that's fine. I mean, it got us through the deck. Orange pellets for nothing. We're not going to dual cast here. I mean, that would be a good 16 damage against the boss, but I would rather have 3 AoE damage against the minions that are coming. Oh, I didn't drink my focus potion. We will drink a focus potion. Buffer is going to be wasted here. I can only block for 6. So if I play Defend Buffer, Defend block 6, Buffer takes the last 1 from here, and then and these 28 hit me. I would like Buffer to eat more than 1 HP, which means I play the other 4 cards. Order doesn't matter. Take orange pellets again. There's 1 dead minion. He's summoning. That's a defrag for sure. We've got a Glacier and a Capacitor coming. He's dead before he does damage, so it's not defend. I think this is just hand agreed on the boss. I mean, I could zap and do 12 damage to both of them, but I don't need to do any. He's dead, so anything that happens to him is irrelevant. Zap does 12 damage to the boss. Glacier does 24 damage to the boss and gives me 2 Frost Orbs when he's not going to be attacking me for at least 2 turns, and at that point I'll have already drawn Capacitor, Glacier, Cold Snap. He's summoning this turn, next turn is turn 4, and he's hitting me with the big debuffs. So it's not Glacier, it's not Zap, it's not Defend. And even if it was any of those, Hand Agreed does more damage than any of them. Alright, we're taking... Seven, 21. So I can kill 1. Block the other. Yep. Debuffs. I didn't. I saved 1 power card. However, I did not draw an attack with it, and I did not draw... I didn't get any card draw with it. So not only can we not clear these debuffs... Well, let's think about that. I was going to say I have to play Buffer here to block the sturdy one. But Genetic Algorithm blocks for 21. I played that in at 27. I played Glacier. I would need to save that Genetic Algorithm. 21, 27, I take 4. Genetic Algorithm, Zap. Save that Buffer for later. Do I save the Buffer or the Genetic Algorithm for later? That off. So much damage. I don't know, am I gonna get that? Oh, hi. Hey, how are you? Oh boy. 1428. So he's dead either way. Huh. I shouldn't have skipped that Genetic Algorithm. I must have played that last night. I could have swore I played Buffer there last night. Another 100 gold, 668 gold. Fire potion. Fire potions are still good. 20 on-demand damage. Obviously, we're going to hopefully find more impressive potions. Hopefully we can find some value for that early in the act and get rid of it and add something better. Ooh. Electrodynamics. Having a second electrodynamics, even in a 25 card deck, has some value. It's so important to us that having a backup is good. Having an extra power to proc orange pellets is good. Electrodynamics is good. Seek is good. Obviously, we like it. I would prefer. Well, I was going to say I would prefer 1 Seek plus to 2 Seeks, but maybe not. Is there more value in grabbing 1 card 2 individual times than 2 cards at once? Probably not. But it doesn't matter because we got the bias cognition that we bought orange pellets for. We take this in this card reward screen without orange pellets, but the fact that we paid 140 gold for orange pellets specifically for this card means we have to take it. Gain 5 focus, lose 5 focus, or lose 1 focus. We orange pellets out away. We're rolling. Just with the cards in our deck now, that gets us to 7 focus. Our frost orbs are blocking for 9. Our lightning orbs are doing 10 damage to everything on the field. We've got 6 orb slots. We're looking pretty good there. That's a good card. Obviously, the frozen egg caused it to be upgraded as well. That was a good act. We come out with 160 more gold than we started. Though, granted, we saved 218 from the store, so that's a little surprising. We only made 440 gold through that run, even with Maw Bank. That seems weird. Though I guess we missed a bunch of hand-agreed hits. Much harder to do that in Act 2 when people are trying to hit you for 24 damage every turn. You kind of got to end fights when you can. But we're in a good spot. Relic-wise, we picked up a dexterity, we picked up orange pellets, we picked up some sustain, we picked up more gold, we picked up upgraded powers that, we want all the powers. Whetstone, so unfortunate that that wasn't linked to the blue key. Pair, we got some max HP. We got our card removal service is lower and locked in now. Or get these last couple strikes out of the way. We got some damage from thorns. What did we use? We had a capacitor pot and a gambler's brew that we started the act with that are gone, but yeah, that was good. We lost 30 HP in that fight, which is not very much. So that was a good run. Let's see, we're on obtained. So we got electrodynamics from Act 1 boss. We only picked up 6 cards in that act. All of them are pretty high impact. 5 of them are very high impact in white noise. White noise is fine, but I wouldn't call it high impact. It's kind of helping us do what we're looking to do, but not having that in the deck wouldn't be a big loss. So that's... Oh no, we get a boss relic. I forgot that this counts as another floor, so we got more gold from Ma Bank. We're up to 680. And another case of mild disappointment. But things are going so well. Philosopher's Stone. Gain 1 energy at the start of your turn. All enemies start combat with 1 strength. 1 strength is a pretty significant number, especially from anything that multi-attacks. Something that hits us for 24 one time hits us for 25. Something that hits us 3 times for 8 now hits us for 27. Hits us 3 times for 8 now hits us for 27 instead of 24. We've got one specific big guy coming up at the end who's going to do some times 15 attacks. Those will all get a +1 strength. But I really do want another permanent energy. That nuclear battery helped us out. With the capacitor there, we were able to make even more use of that energy, but we need this energy, I think. Empty Cage. Upon pickup, we can remove 2 cards from our deck. We've got through without any curses. This would probably be 2 strikes. Though, we looked at this a bit ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only have 6 attacks in our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 powers. So, I mean, at least that ratio is decent for orange pellets and a whole bunch of 10, 11, 12, 13 skills. But besides orange pellets, there's another Act 4 mechanic that we're going to need to have some attacks for. So I'm not taking Empty Cage, spending way too long talking about a relic I would never take in this situation. But if I did, which I wouldn't, if I did, it would probably at this point be a strike or a defend. It could even be 2 defense. Blocking for 6 with the Oddly Smooth Stone is good, but we're blocking other ways now. So could be Zap. 1 lightning orb for 1 energy isn't super interesting to us anymore. So it could be a Zap, a defend. I think dual cast still has some work to do in our deck, especially if we were to pick up a dark orb in Act 3. I mean, it could be a cold snap, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Frozen Core replaces Cracked Core, our starting relic, which gives us 1 lightning at the start of each combat. If you end your turn with any empty orb slots, we channel 1 Frost Orb. 1 Frost Orb, whether we have 1 open orb slot or 6 open orb slots, we get 1 Frost Orb. This starting lightning orb isn't super exciting to us anymore, but I think it's still better than Frozen Core. Frozen, yeah, it's too slow. We lose damage on, yeah. So this is a Philosopher's Stone. Luckily, we can block as well as we can, depending on, well, all of the Act 3 bosses have some big multi-hit attacks, so this is going to be hairy. But it's also going to make us better. Hopefully it makes us better than it makes them better. And that's Act 2. Need to get, hopefully this video worked out, because I'm not doing it a 3rd time. Get this put together, uploaded, and hopefully play Act 3 tomorrow. See ya.